Imagine recording an entire video earlier and then realizing it gets the black screen. Great way to start off a video. Imagine recording an entire video earlier and then realizing the entire thing gets killed by the black screen of death, where you're playing Minecraft Skywars talking about how life's depressing and whatever, and then you're like, oh, actually, it didn't catch any of that other than the audio. So here we are with Cookie Clicker and Auto Clicker and literally the entire game modded, so it's completely playing itself, so I can focus talk and Obama. What I have here today, talk about, well, not too much honestly, same as usual, but what I do offer is this. If life is a numbers game, what do we have left when that game ends? Well, one way to look at life is friends and, having people around, doing stuff, whatever. Another way is the numbers that we leave behind, and I think that's very interesting. You see, in your life, you can only impact so many people, and the same way that this number goes up and down, so do your numbers over the span of time. I thought it was a really interesting graph when I was younger. It was basically like if you have an entire, like, think of like a cone in front of you and an entire cone behind you, and you are the single point in time. You can only impact stuff in the cone going ahead of you, and the stuff going behind you all converges to being you. But whichever way you take this, you can do a lot with it. Go up or down. That's the world's limitless, basically. I thought that was very interesting. I was like, well, that's true, but what does that actually mean? So I have coworkers, right? And some days it feels like we just kind of sit down, lie down, and don't really care. The video I recorded earlier was called Cut Short, and that talks about how life sometimes, we don't always get to choose when life ends, begins, etc. And it looks like everything's being Autobot here. This is so. These mods are flawless. Just trust the process, I guess. Anyways, we only can do so much with that time, and we don't know when that time will end. What I do have to offer on behalf of that is, well, numbers, right? I like auto games, I like numbers. 344 sugar lumps is a nice number. And targeting Juicy Queen Beat, cool. If you wake up and you eat 2,000 calories a day or whatever, something adult average male, I can't remember, I feel like that standard's changed so many times. You have eaten this amount of food. Okay, well, if you were a little bit thinner, maybe you'd eat less, or maybe, you need to eat more if you're super thin, you're really high metabolism, or whatever. But that's food someone else could have eaten, or food that you can make into compost, or whatever else. As someone who has coworkers, well, we have numbers we have to meet, metrics, all this other stuff. How many credit cards did you sell today? How many people did you talk with? How many customers did you serve? How many XYZ? And friends are great at stuff like that, but it's really interesting. If you don't ever talk with your boss, for example, or you talk with him like maybe once a week, all he really sees is all the numbers. He doesn't really know you for who you know you are, and maybe you don't know him as well. Maybe he's the hardest working guy in the building, and nobody knows because he's not really around because he's got a lot of other stuff to handle as the boss. It's one of those realities where it's just like, oh, hey, maybe this is the case, and we just don't really think about it in ways that most people would cognitively consider normal. Why do we do the things we do? Why do we wake up? Why do some days we feel lazy? Why do some days we not really wake up? It takes us forever to get out of bed. I mean, that's time lost. Those are numbers that we could have, if you really want to be the person of the year. That's the news say at the top. How do you go about that? What do you do to make that happen? Life is numbers. Or is it? When Toby Fox released Deltarune, he said there was something more important than the ending to the game. And I think that's a very interesting way of looking at it. So our grandma's the most important here. Looks like JavaScript consoles might be winning as well. I don't really know. If I pump this just a little bit, cursors look like they're adding a good bit as well. If I add this, does this increase the plus percentage? I have no idea what any of these things mean. If you're smarter than me, drop it in the comments, I guess. If you're smarter than me, leave a comment in general. Should be everyone who's watching this video. Oh, look at that, upgrades are cheaper. Amazing. life's finite. We ought to make the most of it. And you can look at it as a series of numbers. And if life is a numbers game, well, you know, your HP drops to 0, you die, as Jebel once said or something. But I think everyone has a story to them as well. And this game is a story. This game's got a ton of lore to it too. It's kind of crazy. I mean, talk about like the Grandma Apocalypse, the like the flesh beings, whatever, the Elder Tors, the mines, this capitalism, complete societal collapse. Somehow Obama plays into this, and chance realities, JavaScript, and whatever else, you know. The passing, the clone, all this. Why is stuff the way it is? I don't know. I have 1,475 stocks here. I could sell them, I could choose not to. That number could go up, that number could go down. I have a mod here that auto sells and auto does that, so you get the best of whatever's going to happen anyways, or at least an optimal amount. Life's not like that. Life doesn't push you around, you can push life around. You get to wake up and then choose to make your day. I had a friend who doesn't really animate much, likes animating, and then didn't really do much with it, and I had him do something dumb, and that was the one thing he did in the month. And he thanked me, because he said, hey, you made me do this. I feel like I had an art block. You kind of helped me out with that, because even if it was like a dumb thing or whatever, you helped me realize this. So, maybe that's what life is maybe it's the one drawing, maybe it's the number, or maybe it's the story that goes into it. I don't know the lore behind Cookie Clicker. I know this is just like one of the idle games of all time. I bet there's a story to the guy who made it. I can't remember his name. Is it like Ortiel? Ortiel? I know if you spell it incorrectly and the bakery thing, um, then life changes a little bit. You get the -1 CPS or -2 CPS or cookies per second, whatever. Life's funny like that. I don't think I have much else to say. Obviously, this is the second video I've recorded tonight, because the first video, it was black screen, and the only reason I figured that out was not because I watched the video back, because I kind of wanted to do these one and done. It was because I uploaded it to YouTube, and I couldn't figure out why it wasn't auto-generating a thumbnail that wasn't black, and then I was like, oh, it's a black video. I didn't record anything, or didn't capture it properly, which is what it looked like, and thank you, Minecraft, for amazing full screen. Maybe I'll redo that another night. So, yeah, with all that said, this has been tonight's sad reality, critical thinking, who knows. I hope these things mean something to someone, maybe do something with our lives, and, well, make the most of the numbers, or find the stories hidden therein. Have a good rest of your night, and try not to let reality be too sad, I suppose.